to Into the Shadows of Dreams with Journey and Kay.
Hello.
We're going to be talking a lot about our dreams and how we can understand what what we're getting in these dreams, how to understand, how to interpret. You know, those of you who don't say, they say, "Oh, I don't dream." That's because you understand your dreams, and it's not something that you need to overthink because you got the hidden message within the dream. We dream in symbolism, and that's why we are here to help interpret those dreams, so that way you guys get a
Interpret
better
your
understanding.
words.
Yeah, interpret the words and the pictures and the image and everything else that's going on in these beautiful dreams. So, how are you feeling tonight?
You know what? I had a little nap before I started, and I had me a couple of dreams that I kept dreaming that I was late. I knew I wasn't going to be late. That was just my anxiety getting the best of me.
Anxiety does that. A lot of our desires, we can push our own desires, and
Mhm.
sometimes that's exactly what it is. Sometimes it's not a dream, it's a desire. So we're going to take a deep dive into all of this tonight and get us started. Are we ready for our very first dream?
I'm ready. Ooh.
Let's do it. All right, we've got Squirrel on.
All right. Squirrel says, "Hi, this dream is from years ago, but still in my head fresh. Short version, LOL." Well, nothing's ever short with Squirrel. Late to the airport, watched the plane take off. Paul and Ryan were in the car ahead of us, and the plane just dropped out of the sky. The tail comes off and wiped out Paul and Ryan. Marty and I were in the back seat, for the rest of the plane came crashing. I threw myself over Marty, actually felt the impact, and then everything was purple fog and nothing else. I woke myself up saying, well, how long do I have to damn stay here? Any insight to such a weird dream? I thought you couldn't die in dreams. You can die in dreams, but oftentimes death is not death in a dream. Much like the tarot, how we say death can be renewal or rebirth of some sort. Death can most certainly mean several things. Sometimes it could mean death in your dream, but in this specific dream, I don't believe that it meant death. Now, I'm going to ask to get part of the dream up here, and I'm going to try to break down each piece that I see. Okay, so first, when we're speaking of planes, a lot of times when we're dreaming of planes, we're dreaming of control, right? And lack of control. When we're up in the air, we don't have control over what goes up, what goes down, unless we're the one who's actually flying the plane. But you weren't flying the plane, you were actually a passenger, right? And then dipping low levels is that change of pace for you. So there's a lot of things that may be kind of happening in your life that you're no longer knowing. It's kind of like the ball's just running and you're running after it. Okay. And so you may be feeling that lack of control. Also, another thing that I saw in your dream, you mentioned the color purple. And I love when people mention colors in dreams because that holds a lot of meaning as well. When we think of purple, we can think of or crown our thoughts. What's going on mentally for us? What is it that we may be holding back, or we're trying to overthink, or we have a lot going on in our head that we're trying to figure out, that we don't feel like we have much say so over, but we're trying to push forward anyways. Also, you mentioned that there was people that you cared about, that you were like trying to protect over, and there were other people who you cared about who you felt like you had no control over, and you had no control over that situation, but your body, what you could do, your personal self. And then even waking up, or trying to force yourself to wake up after the fact to go like, when can I get out of this? I don't want to be in this. You're like, I want to take control back over my life. I don't want to be stuck in this position. This is not something I want. What is it that I want to change in my life? And it's almost like that subconscious is screaming and shaking you for something different. I also get that there's a lot of anxieties that you may have building. And this right now, I would say is, again, even I just said when we started the show, I was like, wow, I could feel my anxiety kind of seeping into my dream. There could be things that, and with those specific people, because again, you also mentioned very specific people in your dream too. What do they mean to you? What part of your life, or maybe they're not being able to be as present as you would like them to be, or what parts of your life where you're feeling like they may have more control than what you do. Also, I wonder if, as Squirrel said, it was right after I'd been diagnosed with narcolepsy and fired from my job again. So complete loss of control. There's nothing that you could do about those things. And then your family is also feeling helpless in regards to be able to do anything for you either. So it's just so interesting how there's so many pieces of this, right? And honestly, I could probably keep going and going and going, but I gotta leave some food up, some crumbs for Journey to pick up here. Girl says that makes so much sense. But yeah, ultimately, just whenever you're dreaming, especially in those like vehicles, airplanes, things of that nature, you cannot always we can control what we do. We can't always, we have to sometimes just brace for the impact of what is going to happen as well. All right, I'll pass you over to Journey.
All right. So, picking up all this energy with what you were talking about, the color purple, definitely a lot to do with your thoughts. And again, the plane, I'm going to reiterate exactly what Kay said, is about having that control, not being the person flying the plane. But the thing is the plane crashed, and there was definitely nothing you could do about this. But I'm also picking up what I would say is, not only was it the understanding that the narcolepsy is playing a part and you lost your job, so you're feeling helpless at this point, but you said the death of two, so I'm assuming your husband and the oldest son, there was something going on between the two of them at that moment as well. So there had to have been, along with the information of having narcolepsy and the loss of your job, it caused the tension between the two of them where they were not seeing eye to eye. Again, to protect Marty in the situation, you covered Marty because you didn't want Marty to be a part of a conversation that the two of them were having. And the conversation was a heated one. It was not anything that you could put your control over or try to smooth out. Now, mind you, they have cleared the air on that, but in that moment, you felt helpless, lost. Dang, yeah, they were at each other's throats in that time period. Exactly. So that's why when you saw in the dream, so not only are we connected to that, but I wanted to pick up on the two deaths that were in there, because it felt like they were never going to stop, and that this was actually going to destroy the dynamic between the two of them. But in reality, it didn't. It let them see that they both have opinions. And it let them see that they both have a way of seeing the world and viewing the world and accepting things that come forth. Both of them are overly protective of you. And one wants to, it's a pissing contest. Who's got the bigger pile of piss? Like, who's got the bigger puddle? And so they were both going at each other for the same reasons, but in reality, they were both protecting the same person. But to protect, and she put, oh my God, so true, laugh out loud. The thing is that to protect Marty from this conversation, because from Marty's perspective and how I can see this in the dream, he was completely he was just there. So he's the innocent bystander in all the shenanigans that were happening at that moment, which you were trying to wrap your mind around. Why would you guys argue and be at each other's throats for the same thing? And they put, yeah, he was wee bitty. Exactly. But the thing is that you were trying to protect the one that couldn't protect themselves. And the two that could protect themselves end up dying for the same reason. See what I'm saying? They're both on the plane. They're both trying to get to the same destination. They're trying, but they are fighting over the same thing. And who's got it better? Who said it better? Who presented it better? Who loves mom more? And you couldn't wrap your mind around it, because in your eyes, you cannot say that one's love outweighed the other one's love, because you love them equally. And at the same time, they were both eliminated in the dream at the same time. So you're trying to make peace, but you cannot make peace in which you did not create. So it was out of your control. So the plane went down. You're watching it. And is this okay? Were you in the plane or outside of the plane? Because I'm getting outside of the plane watching it take off in a sense. Like you weren't inside the plane. But I'm getting the image of both directions, like you were in it and then you were outside of it. So with that, I'm feeling as though that the direction in which you thought you were going, we were in the cars trying to get to the okay. So that makes more sense to me because you guys lost the direction in which you guys were going. See, the narcolepsy took the plane down. Things were good. There was a balance. There was no worry. You felt comfortable. That plane coming down, because that was the direction you were trying to get to, came down on the cars and took the two out that were arguing with one another. You couldn't control that. You could not control the plane. You couldn't even control. And the other thing is that not getting to the plane in time is the fact that the narcolepsy was playing a part in the situation. And the loss of a job, meaning that the finances were going to change. The whole everything that you knew came to a halt, a change, and you had to try to embrace everything that was going on. So I'm going to say with them being taken out, it was about the two of them fighting over you, which you couldn't wrap your mind around, but you wanted to protect Marty because Marty had the ability to speak up and you wanted to say, no, you didn't see this. You were like, no, I don't want you to see. I don't want you to see this at all. So you threw yourself. That was the protection, is to stay out of this. Let them work it out. And in your dream, they were eliminated from the equation. She says that makes so much sense. But I want you to understand that it wasn't about any type of death. It was about watching them two. Yes, it was love, but it was also foolish. You had no control over it. No matter what you said or what you did, that was not going to change the outcome. It was not going to change the situation. So, and that thought process, Kay was on it. She was like, it was something you had no control over. It was how you were thinking at that time and how you were trying to process. Definitely a lot going on in that dream.
There was a lot. I love even the resilience of her being the mom and still, because the mother's intuition is to protect her cub, right? And she's like, I threw myself over him to protect him, even in the dream. And even in the dream, she was like saying how she was like, I'm ready to get up. I'm ready to get out of this mess. I'm ready to take control over this. When do I get up? I thought that was really interesting.
Absolutely. And then she was like, because when I was dead in the dream, I was also so bored. But the thing is that you were to be an observer. The reason why you died in the dream is so that you didn't involve yourself. That meaning keep your distance from that argument, because there's nothing you would have added fuel to a fire that was happening had you been able to speak. So yeah, that was a dream that was like, just let them fight. They will get past it. They need to learn this about each other.
That was a good dream. That was juicy.
That one was definitely Lordy. It makes so much sense when y'all explain it. Thank you. You are so welcome.
Yes, you're welcome, Squirrel.
Absolutely. And this is what dreams, why we need sometimes to interpret the dreams, because we also need to know, what's going on in your life, because at that point we can see by the way the dream is being led that there was something major going on in your life at that time, or a way that you were feeling when you went to sleep. Again, we could be having dreams, or we could be pushing desires. We could be doing a lot of things. So we want to make sure that we are interpreting them right, so you guys get a better understanding as to the differences between what a dream is, what a thought pattern is, because sometimes we're like, oh, I had this dream. I was like, did you though? Because it seems more like a desire.
Yeah.
So, all right. What a juicy.
Your
that
turn.
Was so juicy. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and take our next dream. Who do we got? All right, we've got Pooja said, "Had a dream that Norman has gotten the insight that I am the one for him. He tells me this, but still he can't take the action to get out from his current relationship. What is this dream wanting to convey to me?" The thing about this dream here is that it's exactly what I was just talking about. What is a dream and what is a desire? And this is something that you desire, but the only thing that I can say that wasn't a desire is the knowing that he's still in the situation. That's not a desire, that's reality. He is still in a situation. So it's not allowing you to process. So, not technically a dream, but this is something that you want. You're wanting him to understand, you're wanting him to put you first. You want these things. So, this doesn't feel like a dream. This feels a desire. This means you weren't at the realm of sleep. This is coming through as a thought pattern and how you're trying to process the situation, something that you want internally. Now, I'm going to pass this over to Kate. I'm pretty sure she feels the way I do on that. So here we go.
Let me see the dream again. All right. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is I do feel like just again, just how I was saying earlier, I was like halfway to sleepland, halfway to dreamland, right? And the anxiety was pulling in. And so again, honey, I much agree here that this does seem like a desire. And also it seems like what's going on in your present day life is starting to infiltrate into your dreams. So you're going to continue to find yourself being in probably very similar dreams or very repetitive situations that you're probably not able to get out of, or that someone's not able to come to you. You may feel as though there's things that aren't moving in a certain pace. So I would just be kind of mindful of knowing what it is that you can do something about too in your present life and what you can't do, and what are you allowing to kind of take control over you, that it is, if it be that seeping into your dream life. So if this is a person who's in your regular present day life currently and they're kind of they're seeming unavailable, don't allow them to kind of control over your day to day, because I'm telling you that subconscious will eat at you, and pretty soon your dreams will too. All right, honey, I hope that helps.
And we see these things and we're like, oh my God, I had a dream about this. Was it the dream? Did you get to that realm of sleep? Just like you were talking about, waking up and going, oh, I'm late. No, I'm not.
I'm totally fine.
It wasn't a real dream. It was your anxieties playing a part. And then this causes her an anxiety about her situation. So that was the anxieties going, you're not quite asleep yet, so you're still thinking.
Literally, I had the same dream 5 times in a row before this show. It wasn't, you know what I mean? I knew it was just my anxiety creeping in. So it gets us too.
Exactly. We still play a part in that. And she wasn't quite into that deep realm of sleep where the dreams really do process. She was in that first stage. The anxieties were like, you're still technically awake because the brain is still processing 5,420 million different things. So
that's when I say my mind is making ice cream in my head in the middle of the night. It's putting the sprinkles on and the whipped cream on and the chocolate drizzle on, and I'm like,
then it starts throwing nuts, and all of a sudden beef came into the picture. Like, where the hell does beef come from? This is very gross and meaty. But we do that to ourselves. Our anxieties do play a big part. So sometimes when we see things like this as a dream, then we find ourselves going, was that a dream? Did I have that as a dream? Wasn't quite a dream. Your mind was still thinking about the things that you've been dealing with on a regular basis. All right. Well, okay, it's your turn. Let's go ahead and turn the clock to the next question. Who we got?
All right, we have Arisha. I hope I'm saying her name right. Hey, I saw my dead cousin's funeral in my dreams and saw another funeral with that. I am not sure if it was my dead grandfather. He died in January, or my alive eldest sister. But I woke up suddenly and got a very weird feeling. Since then, I saw that there was less people at the funeral and we kept waiting for more. Can I see the beginning part of that question again? So, a few things here. I want to say there's more that I would need out of this. Maybe some more details if you have it, because you're saying it could potentially be this person or it could be that. You could have dreams of people who are coming back to visit you. That is possible. Um, but if you're dreaming about someone who's living and there's death in there, I would say you may want to figure out what is the conflict that you may have with that person that may need resolved. I would also say, what is it about that time period of when those people passed away that you're dreaming about? What is it about that time period that seems pivotal for you? I would also take time to sit here and reflect what's happening right now in your life that is reflective of whenever these people passed away. What is it about their funeral? What is it about that is sticking out to you? And it may not necessarily be the exact funeral process. No, it could just be maybe they were ill at that time, or is there someone ill in your life right now? Were you going through a certain loss at that time that you're going through now? What is it that is mirroring your life for that to be occurring? Also, when you're seeing people and you're seeing funerals, the important question is, if you're saying you're not sure of whose funeral it is the casket open? Is it closed? Are you sure it's them, or is it just in your thoughts that we just know that it's them? Are you seeing an obituary? Those pieces, and me and Journey have talked about this before, though they may seem minor, they actually make a huge difference in us being able to figure out, is this something more to this dream or is it not? So if you do have any more details, I think that would be very helpful. But as far as what I can say, I don't feel as though this is a dream that is just solely on death, as though it may be trying to tell you that there's something that you may need to work out or something you may be needing to let go of. Also, you may still be going through a grieving process if you're still recalling someone from that time. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Journey.
All right. So a lot of things that Kay said definitely resonates with what I'm seeing as well when it comes to this dream. And knowing that you have a worry, and since you wasn't sure who it was, but did mention the elder sister, is the elder sister having health scares? Is she having, or you have a concern about your sister, which is making you see a reflection of, I think it was the cousin's funeral first. Was it a
grandfather, I think?
Well, there was a grandfather too.
Oh, yeah, it was cousin first.
All right, it was the cousin. Okay, so you saw your cousin's funeral and you don't want what happened to your cousin to happen to your sister. So this is how I interpreted the dream, is that this seems more about anxieties. Again, here we're pushing the anxieties. And so, you've heard of daydreaming. We've all daydreamed before. So in daydreaming, we're not in the realm of sleep to actually dream in the way that we're supposed to. So we're still, yes, we're in la la lands when we get to daydreaming, but when you're trying to get to that realm of sleep, you all find yourself again in this place I call la la land, because that's what it feels like. It feels like we are trying to get to the realm of sleep, but yet we're still processing the things that we've been thinking about, things that we're going through. And then when we get to that realm of sleep, that deep realm of sleep where we get into those deep dreams, we start to process and understand what we're going through. So you were in the stage of trying to understand your anxieties about what you were feeling currently in the situation. So I don't feel that it was like a dream of warning, but it definitely something that concerns you, that you could have a conversation with your sister and ask her about how she's been feeling, how she's been, putting things together. How does she feel, how her health is doing, or how, maybe there's a situation that she's going through that you really feel like is beating her down. Maybe it's time to come to the surface with that. Find a way to deliver the message without, coming off too aggressive or anything like that. But that's what I'm picking up when it comes to this particular situation. If you were capable of providing us more information, like you saw, and then you were waiting for more people, and it's almost like you were waiting for validation from other people to help you process what you were feeling. So that was the other thing when it comes to that dream. So it's like the validation, waiting for more people. So, and you're not getting that validation because no one's saying anything. Everybody is, kind of holding back and not saying anything and kind of just letting it sit there, but you're seeing it, and it sounds like you need to speak up and have that conversation. All right. Well, thank you so much for that dream. It's missing a little bit, so we could go deeper into it. But guys,
we still got something, but it was just like
still some meat there. We got some flavor, but guys, even if you, just like Ken was saying, I say it all the time, make sure you guys talk about those things that you feel that may not be important, like seeing, were you standing up? Did you see colors? Did you feel it? Was the dream in black and white? What is the dream about? Most people dream in black and white and don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. They're like, I had no idea. I can't remember if I dreamed in color. Some of us dream in color. The reason why colors stand out so boldly is because it is the only color you are seeing.
Yeah. So that's why I love whenever somebody says a color, I'm like, we can dive into that.
Right.
Give me these details.
Exactly. So guys, when explaining a dream, don't hesitate. I know that everybody's like, oh my God, I got a lot to write, but go ahead.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
Exactly. That's why we're here for an hour, to help explain, so you guys get a better chance to understand, because once you understand it, the dream will let go. Because there are some times where we repeat dreams, and that's because we're still not understanding the message in which it's giving us. So we got to try to find a way to make that happen.
My dream was I had to laugh because I'm like, my dream was to set my alarm. Get up on time, Dave.
Sound the alarm. It's one of those things where you were having anxiety about, I don't want to miss the show. I love doing this show.
So bad.
Your body was like, you didn't set an alarm, so I'm going to wake you up.
You will not miss this show.
Adanaki says, I've had that happen. Laugh out loud. It's weird. It's not. It really isn't a weird. It's something that we knew that we were supposed to do. So your anxiety does have a good. It does have a good side. It's rare, but it does have a good side sometimes.
Yeah, it does. I'm like, this is, it keeps my Capricorning.
Exactly.
All
right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get to our next stream. Who do we've got? Okay, we got Adanaki says, a while ago, I had a dream where I was wandering through what looked like an abandoned city and a winding labyrinth of streets and featureless gray buildings. Some with signs I couldn't read, so also dark. Inside that I couldn't see into them. This went on for ages, silence except for a mechanical drone in the background, until I came to the only proper door I could find. When I opened it, I found myself in my childhood home alone. I made my way into the living room and saw that it was my old neighbor, but outside it was empty. The streets were the same, but none of the houses were there. I figured I shouldn't leave again and sat down to watch some TV and turned it on, putting on a show, which in my brain I knew was a cartoon, Arthur specifically. Okay, that's a good key point here. But visually was just gore. When it ended, the sky outside was red, and I was hearing that droning and heard my mom at the door. So your mom snapped you out of this. Okay, asked me to let her in, but I knew it wasn't her. I woke up when I started to panic because out one door was what I left what I felt was an invisible monster, and there was a fake mom. Okay. Any insight to all that? Okay. I definitely got anxieties and things like that, but the thing is that your anxieties definitely played a big part here. And in your situation, when this was going down, I don't know what was happening at that point, but I do feel as though that you were seeing people in a sense like you were feeling that people were being two-faced. So there's and they were people that you trust. So when you were looking at the fact that your mom was the one knocking on the door telling you to let you in, that's someone you trust. That's someone that you have love. You give love to very few people, but when you love deeply. Arthur was a show that gave you comfort as a kid. You were feeling very vulnerable and very innocent while you seen your childhood in front of you. The show that you would watch would be a show that you watched when you were younger. So again, we're back to our innocence, but unfortunately, what you were seeing with Arthur was not Arthur. Again, there's a different side to it, and it was very gory and not what you were looking for. But yeah, her voice sounded slightly wrong. It was like distorted, correct? Because at that time, what you were processing is that not everybody is going to be two-faced to you or lied to you, but someone that you were close to was not being real with you, and you knew it. Internally, you knew that the person was completely lying, but you did not know how to tell them that they were lying because you loved them, you cared about them. So even though they looked and acted as though they were your mom, they weren't your mom, because your trust comes with your mom. So that's how you see your mom in your dream. That's anytime you see your mom in your dream, you know that's someone that you trust. But if your mom is not being herself, you know that person is not who they say they're being. I'm not saying that it's your mom that's being that way. I'm saying whoever the person is that's in the situation that's making you feel that way. Okay, so don't think it's your mom. The thing is that going through these abandoned buildings and going through what was, things are not the same. There's silence except for this noise in the background for you of a machine. That's weird that I connected to my innocence / childhood, though, because it's a place you feel safe. When you think of your childhood, what do you feel? You feel safe. But you're also, your innocence is there. So it's a part of you that was still wanting to believe, and then the part of you that knew not to trust. Because when you were younger, things came out of your mouth like word vomit. It didn't matter if it hurt somebody's feelings or not. You didn't know you were hurting their feelings. It just happened. In the same sense, as you've gotten older, you've found ways to tolerate people and allow certain things to happen. But in your innocence, you did not. If someone came and punched you, guess what you did? You punched back. Owie, no punch. Well, you're going to get punched back. That was what you were doing. You were allowing yourself to feel natural. You were allowing your natural instincts to shine through. Too true, laugh my ass off. Right. So the thing about it is that this would, I know you said this is a couple of years ago, but at the time, someone was not being truthful to you. And you were trying to see a side of them that did not exist. It almost felt like everything that you knew of that person was a lie, was a story, was a make-believe. And you got to see the truth. The mask came off, and boom, you were left with, what the hell is even this? So I'm going to leave some for Kay to dissect. She's probably over there going, Journey, shut up so I can say that. But it's okay. Me too. She does it to me too.
Audie Knocker says, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. And why the fake author stressed me out and started making things get worse outside of my safe space. Okay. So
They wanted in.
So many notes. I can't wait. Okay. So there were so many things that were everything he said. Yes. Okay. Just, yeah. But there's things that stuck out to me. You mentioned in the beginning things were gray, and then it was like later on things got red. And if I like have ever heard, this is like the Red Riding Hood story on crack. Okay. So Red Riding Hood, right, is all about the transformation, the growth. And she literally went through what you went through. The grandmother who was really the wolf, right? For you, it was your mom is not your mom. That gray area is that undefined area, right? When we think there is no color, there is no black and white, it's a gray area. I'm not even sure who I am. Journey had mentioned about you being in kind of a space where someone may have been being two-faced. But for me, what I screamed was, what weren't you being honest with yourself about at that time? Was there a stage where you were transforming? Was there a piece of you that was coming out of a certain mindset? Were you starting to try to get comfortable with a certain thing, but was it not going the way that you wanted it to? That red is huge. It can mean anger. It can mean passion. It can mean aggressive force. There's so much. Onyaka says, ooh, I must have touched the nerve on something there. But there's something that you were pushing for in that time, but it wasn't quite mapping out the way that you envisioned it to go. And so you were dealing with, in theory, an identity crisis. What I love, and the reason why the Red Riding Hood stuck out to me was because Red Riding Hood, they give you that play of the innocence, and then the red cloak goes as her losing her virginity, going from the pure stage to adulthood, her shedding the first time. So for you, what is it that you may have been shedding at that time? What is it for you that you may have been growing? What is it that your mom couldn't necessarily save you or help you with at that time? What changed? What was the difference that was going on there? Also, the other thing that screams out to me is your intuition. You said that you knew that Arthur was on. You said you knew it was Arthur, but it wasn't Arthur. You knew it was your mom, but it wasn't your mom. Again, it's like spirit was knocking at the door, but you weren't receptive to the answer yet. Like you knew, but you weren't ready to fully come to that thought process yet. There's a holdback, some restraint. What I would say is, at that time, it says, I wish I could remember better. A lot of the past 7 years meld together. That's okay. But you may have been coming to that stage of just more so of trying to get to a point of acceptance of something in your life maybe changing. Let me think. Let me see more of the dream, because there was so much to this dream. Any portion of the dream will do. Okay. The labyrinth, the abandoned cities, and the signs you couldn't read. Again, all of these very present with anxiety, feeling that lack of structure, feeling the lack of not being able to know. We look for signs. We look for signs to give us direction. You had no direction. So a lot of this was just kind of, I feel like there was just so much going on, more than likely at that point in time, not even probably just in your life, but probably the people who you are closely in a circle with, and there's lack of control over that. But then the thing was, it was like you had some answers to things, but I think it's time for you to start listening to your intuition. I mean, I get that this was years ago, but I'm saying even now, whenever you do have dreams that are kind of like this, what is it? Even the fact that it's present now for you, what does it hold to you? Because the fact that you can remember these details the way that you did 7 years later, that speaks of a lot as well. So there, I mean, Audie Knocker says lack of structure and direction definitely strikes. Yeah, there's so much to this dream that I think that really, if you sit here and you truly pick it apart, you'll go, holy heck, especially if you can kind of relate to that time frame of what you were kind of going through. And one thing that I find very interesting about people who mention gray in their dreams, because I don't hear a lot of people mention gray in their dreams. Onyx says, "Oh, I didn't think it was 7 years ago. I just know that's the time span it was during because I lived here." Oh, okay, I got you. But the thing I noticed about people who are dreaming with gray, there's a lot of gray area that's in their life. Like they probably aren't a person who fits the mold of, this stereotype or this stereotype. They've got a whole lot of extra flavor, a lot of extra seasoning in it, but you've got to allow yourself to find whatever that color is for you to bring into it. Okay. All right. Well, I think I got as much as I could. I hope that helps. Thank you for that dream. That was really a good one.
That was a good one. I have dreams similar in the aspect of the cities are abandoned. There's no one there. There's no windows. There's no doors. The frames of the buildings are there. And every time I have a dream similar to that, I always meet a new, because I end up following a orb. And they said definitely not refitting in. Thank you guys. Yeah, the thing of that dream for me is that I always find this orb, and the orb always takes me, and it's always a different color. Or sometimes they are multiple colors. It just depends. And I always find a new person, a new spiritual person in my life. So I always know what a new spiritual person.
Did you get a little orb when I came around?
Oh, absolutely. It sure did. And the funny thing is, it was green.
What? Get out.
It was forest green, even though that's
my color.
But it is forest green that came through. But the thing about forest green, it wasn't alone because it did come with yellow. There were streaks of yellow in it. And so that was letting me know that there's a sharpness to you. So whoever this person was going to be very sharp, very keen, very knowing, very seeing all. May not mention it all, but will state the obvious. And so when I met you, it's exactly what I was expecting. And, same thing with Squirrel. The thing is with Squirrel, she's probably going to laugh at me, the color because I don't think not that she dislikes any type of colors, but orange was the color that came with her as fire. It looked more like a ball of flames. And the funny thing is that she's a Leo. So that side of her made itself very dominant for me to see. And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense after, but I didn't know that until I met her. And I was like, oh, you dominant. Oh, you at the main. I got this. I understood.
You know what I see whenever I do, like, I don't get lights. I pick flowers. It's really weird. Like, it's like I'm walking by myself through like a big, just like a grassy plain, and I'll pick random flowers, and that's how I know there's going to be people coming into my life. It's never the same flower. It's not like I don't think I've ever gotten the same flower twice.
So the thing with the orbs and stuff coming in is I have kind of like studied my own dream on this multiple times because it happens so much because I meet so many great people. And so what I see with it is I see a lot of the things that I saw in the dream, but I'm seeing what the universe is seeing in that person. I'm seeing that energy that they provide.
Right.
And where their place is, because not one orb has been the same as another. They have all been different. They've all been unique. They've all been like a fingerprint. And that's how I've interpreted their energy sources, as every single one of us are unique. We all have our place. Who are you meeting this week? It's so cool.
That's neat.
That's someone that, I get a chance to work with, someone I get to sit down one-on-one with. I have dreams about them before I meet them. So I get, an understanding of what to prepare myself for. And it definitely helps because before I would run from these dreams. You're looking at abandoned buildings with no windows and you're like, it's dark and gray. And, every once in a while, lightning goes through the sky. It's very horror TV movie kind of shit. And then you're like, oh, so I would wake myself up because I didn't know. And then I started to realize.
Squirrel line, hear me roar.
Squirlion. Squirlion. I love it. But no, every person I met, and there's a good and a balance to each, there's a good and bad to everybody. There's a balance, and now how to get on somebody's bad side and how to balance that out. And when I have these dreams, I see that balance, what this person can tolerate, what they're looking for, and how to be that person for them in their life, so you don't disrupt that energy. Because as long as you can help them keep their balance, not only does your light grow, their light grows, and you guys grow together. So that's how we all become connected.
Big old balls of lights.
We're all looking like the Power Rangers out here. It's all good though.
Somebody's got to do it.
Exactly. Someone's got to say, oh, that's amazing though. All right. That dream, Igor, I swear that was some pretty detailed stuff, but you were going through a lot. And your innocence played a huge part in that, because you needed that to stay grounded. You needed something to anchor you. And that was a place in your life where you felt very strong, very anchored, and secure. There was a security there. It's a security blanket. We all have our anchor. We don't all talk about it. We all have that one place in our life where we felt completely secure in something. And that something will always show up in the dream. There's always an anchor in a dream. That's something that a lot of people don't tell you. There's always going to be one object in the dream that happens in every single one of your dreams to keep you anchored, to keep you balanced. Says, oh yeah, sorry, it ended up so long, but I appreciate the insight so much. Hey, we need the link. Exactly. Give us 5 pages of this dream. We need to know the details. That way we can help you understand it, so it could be something that you let go. So that way you understand it, so you can let the dream go. So it says, yeah, true. I have to keep an eye out for reoccurring items. Absolutely. And it's fun because you'll now start to realize that you're looking for that item in your dream. You start controlling the dream rather than letting the dream control you.
That's what I do.
Yes, that lucid dreaming.
That's what I do. That's me. Why I put, I throw a crystal in around, and that is I know. I'm like, it's not in here. I'm dreaming.
There was a girl that I talked to. I do her dream interpretations all the time. The one thing that we've noticed in her dream is that she is always wearing a black dress. She's always wearing what looks like a black summer dress. And every time, it doesn't matter. She says she could be in the Arctic and she is standing barefoot in this black dress. That is her comfort. I would go more into it, but then I'm telling her dream, and it's not my place to tell her dream.
And I'm all sucked in. Tell me more.
Definitely, we all have that one reoccurring item. I know people that dream and their eyes are not the same color that they normally are. Their hair is not the same color, but it's that in their dreams, their hair is fiery red, and it just stays that way in every dream. There's comfort. That's your anchor. That's something that you recognize to allow you to know, because your dreams do allow you to know that you are dreaming. And sometimes we don't see our item, and these dreams become nightmares, and we start panicking. We're not knowing that this is not real because we're not seeing our one object that keeps us balanced and keeps us grounded and keeps us knowing that this is just a dream. You're going to make it through it. You not see your object, you're going to be like, oh, why am I running? Who the heck is chasing me? Then you're having a nightmare versus the dream. Warren says, oh, cool. I have a first aid kit ready. Or just medical stuff in general. Lots of my dreams, bandages and stuff. There's yours. It's could be a color, it could be a dress, it could be hair, it could be anything.
That's interesting that that's your specific thing. You may be a fixer in life. You may want to fix things all the time.
I was a healer of some sort. Even if that's being a therapist, being that person. You don't even have to be a therapist. You can be someone who sits and listens to their friends' problems and I have that listening ear for you. And, by just listening, you don't realize how much healing you're allowing someone to give by them being able to speak freely and communicate. So, all right. I think we got time for another dream. Let's throw one out there. Kay, you're up to bat. Let's do this.
Woo! All right. Is it me?
It is now.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
Yep.
Where it says, had a dream that I was part of a group of wanderers in a dangerous desert. We're trying to find a safe place to rest our heads. They were scary looking, but I felt like I'd known them all of my life. Okay. Think I might have been in love with the biggest, scariest one, but not sure if it was mutual. Lots of attacks from animals and other people. Oh, are colors important? There was a lot of yellow and orange because we were in the desert. We all wore leather and fur and bandages and stuff. So brown, black, white, red, yellow, orange. You've seen a lot of colors. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Can I get the first part of that dream back up? Okay. Wanderers in a dangerous desert. We're trying to find a safe place. Okay. So the other people in the dream were scary. Okay. All right. So one thing that kind of stands out to me is that though you knew that these things were intimidating, you were still with them. So you were still seeking a source of protection in a way. And there was a sense of you not wanting to be alone. So there's so many things that can kind of play into that. One, what kind of things were kind of going on into your life that maybe you were feeling like you were stuck in a situation, but you weren't necessarily sure how to get yourself out, or maybe you just kind of got used to being in a certain lull. Also, you've seen so many different colors in the desert. What stands out about the desert, right? The desert, there's typically not a lot of sources of water. There's not a stream of that purity, right, that kind of goes through it. You think desert, you think hot, you think abandoned, you think loneliness. There's not a lot of people out there. There's not a lot of things. And then you're with people who aren't quite people either. So there's a lot of almost some of this, I'll say it's just your mind kind of adding a little bit extra to the dream, but I feel as though there's more of this that's kind of saying there's a sense of something here that you may have been trapped in, a huge sense of not wanting to fail, I almost feel like, because even still there's this need to survive. You were still making it through all of these different things, despite the obstacles that they were, despite you not necessarily being certain of your surroundings. You had a lot of colors. Let me see those colors that came up. I believe I seen yellow, brown, black, white, and red. Those are actually like heavy colors too. Those aren't even softer tones. So yellow and orange can oftentimes deal with creativity. What is it that your mind is trying to allow you to kind of play into? Those black and whites, typically you can still stand with the black and whites in the picture. Just like Journey said, black and white is oftentimes what we dream. Red can indicate needing that power, that sense of courage to kind of get through something. What else? What other? There was brown. I'm not sure on the brown color brown. Definitely having a rough time with a lot of things all at once. That makes sense. You just had a lot of different obstacles that were hitting your way. But it strikes me heavy that you weren't afraid of the people. Like you were afraid, but you weren't afraid of the people. How many of those people were around, and also what was surrounding you in your day-to-day life? Because I feel like it was more than just one situation that was possibly happening. And you were familiar of everything that was going on around you. You just may not have been sure of exactly how to handle those types of situations. So give yourself time to kind of process through all of those things. And if you're still having that kind of dream, maybe take time to dissect what's all going on around, and then you'll be able to kind of find more resolution. All right, I'll pass it over to Journey.
All right. That was good. And I do agree with a lot of everything that you were saying there, because when it comes to you being in the desert, the very first thing was how the desert was a representation of you. There's nothing around. You feel like in that moment of time when you were having this dream, you felt as though you had nothing. The people around you, yet they may have been scary, but that's because you know their secrets. So it wasn't the people that you were seeing the secrets that are around the people. There were three of them, one big guy, one with his face totally disformed by scars, one that looked almost wolfish. Okay. So as I was saying about the people that were around you, not the people that you said the animals, and there were other people attacking you. So there was different things. Now the animals in which we're being attacked, you are the person that people come to tell their secrets to. They're constantly revealing things about themselves to you. The reason the desert and trying to find a safe space is that you're not getting a chance to reveal what you're feeling and what you're going through as you're in constant care. Now, you were the one talking about the band-aids. Again, the fixer. So you are constantly fixing everybody else's problems, but no one is fixing you. No one is helping you. But in a way, by hearing other people's stories and the things that they go through and their secrets, you're healing yourself. And they put it's true. So with the monsters, they were their secrets, the things that they didn't want people to know, or the way people were that's their secrets are reflecting at you, and it's not normal. But you're not someone who's judging them. So, but the other people are. So the people that were attacking you guys are the people that did not like them, who you were protecting them from. And the animals in which they were attacking were the monsters, spirit guides, which were attacking the group. So a lot of these people are their own worst enemies. So they're beating them up. And so they were attacking you. Why? Because you were in on it. You knew. You have the idea. So each one of these animals was one of their spirit guides. So you are having a little bit of some psychic draw here. So you were drawing in some psychic ability, being able to see people's spirit animals. But I also felt that, as Kay was saying, you had a lot of things going on. So at that time, everybody was coming at you with their secrets, wanting your time. You were going through your own personal problems that you could not get off your chest. That's why you were in constant search to find a safe place, because even with the monsters around, you could not let yourself out. Warren says, oh, being attacked by your own spirit animal sounds messed up. When your own worst enemy, when you're the one attacking yourself, you're the one that's doing these things, your own animal will attack you to make you wake up, realize what you're seeing, realize what you're doing. So you were trying to bandage everybody. That's why you're seeing these numerous amount of colors, which I'm going to say more than likely you were dreaming in color. There was so many colors that stuck out for you, but you were definitely dreaming in color. This was not a black and white dream. But there was a lot more yellow. I saw more yellows than I did any other color. That was the first color that stood out to you, because even like when you're looking out and you see like a haze over things, yellow was the haze that you saw. You were seeing all the energies and how they connected, and even how they connected to you. You were looking for a safe space because there were things on your chest that you would like to get off, but you can't, because the people that you had around you were not going to allow you to do that, because they wanted to do the me. And so the whole memes, that's what we're going to call them, the memes, their spirit animals were attacking them because they would not allow you to get what you needed off your chest. So there was a selfishness. But at the same time, hearing everybody else's, problems, secrets, things that they have that they want to get out. Sometimes what they go through does help you and helps you heal. But you do need to find a person in your life that you can talk to, someone you can relate to, even if that's a really good friend, a spiritual worker, a priest, whoever it is that you can talk to, that you can sit down and release these things from you so you can feel safe. That's why you're always carrying the bandages. That's why you're always carrying, because you always feel that constant need that everybody needs me to protect them. Felt to me like we were all being protected. We were all protecting each other to some extent, at least. You were being protected because you know the secrets. You weren't all protected. And I get that they were protecting you because you know the secrets. But you also need to be able to protect yourself when this stuff, that's why they're monsters, because there are times where you need to be able to confide in them and you're not getting the opportunity. And that's where the memes come out. And put, oh, yeah, you got the secrets. Nobody wants you to dish. Trust me, the last thing they want to do is piss you off. But they don't realize how that makes you feel. Because you could read them like the Sunday Times and it'd be a big problem. You're the one with the secrets. Let's make sure that we keep you busy with all the other crap that goes on in your life so you never have time to tell anybody what they're going through, but yet you never have time for yourself to be able to get what you need off. That's why you're always looking for the opportunity to find a safe place, because the only thing that's keeping you protected right now is all the memes. Because with that ring of memes around you, if anything comes to attack, they get hit first. Now they trust me, they'll point a finger if they have to. So that's kind of true. I always feel I'll bother them if I say anything too, but you need to be able to get a chance to relate or allow them to relate to you. So that way they won't be dismembered. They won't be monsters. The big one that you love was your partner. The partner that you had at the time when you had this dream was a Mimi. And you were feeding the Mimi big time. It was all about them, never about you. Stop doing that to yourself. Your self-conscious is trying to tell you it's okay to communicate. It's okay to tell your side of the story. Stop always looking for a safe place. And, take a moment. Take a moment. Find that safe place. Find that person you can confide in, because it doesn't seem like at that time your partner was the person that you could talk about yourself. It was all about them. So that's what I got with the dream. I mean, I agree with a lot of things Kay says, but I saw a couple little things that I'd like to add to it, because that some other things that I was picking up, just like when she was biting at the bit when I was doing it, and I was like, oh boy, I could see it in her face. She was like, oh, no.
I wrote pen going. I was like, let me take a note.
But I definitely feel as though that's the reason you were comfortable with the monsters, is because you knew who they were.
Mm.
And when we know someone's secrets, you can see. What's your famous quote?
When someone shows you who they are, you believe them.
Exactly. And sometimes someone telling you their secrets shows you who they really are. And you receive the secrets and not the person. So, not that you were judging them or anything, but sometimes it happens. You're in a dream state. You can't control that part.
I judge. I'm a judgy person. I judge.
And I'm judging you. Okay.
Deal with it.
This has been a beautiful show. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that hour's already over.
Quick. It went by quick. We're over our hour.
I know. I was like, wow, where'd the time go?
We had good dreams. We had juicy dreams today.
Guys, keep those dreams coming to us. Guys, start a dream journal if you haven't had a chance to. Grab your phone. We all got these amazing devices where we can communicate, push the record button, and tell your dream to your phone. I really, really hope you guys enjoy this. And Warren says, yes, of course. Of course not, laugh out loud, but I am judgmental sometimes, and I'll admit that. Thanks, guys. You are welcome. But, the thing is that we try not to be, but we all do it. We all judge. It's human nature. It's human nature. And it's also how we learn. It's us. When they show you who they are, believe them. Yes. Believe them. But guys, this has been amazing. Kay, this has been great. I love this.
Another great night.
Exactly. The dreams just keep getting juicier and juicier, guys. Write us out those big things. You guys can start typing in your dreams on these shows at least 2 hours ahead of time. That way you guys can give us everything that we need, because we are looking forward to communicating with all of you. All right. Well, guys, sleep tight. We're going to head ourselves to bed so we can go to dreamland. And we'll catch you guys next Wednesday with Into the Shadows of Dreams. I almost said dream interpretation, but that's what we're doing here. All right. From everyone here at My Psychic Connection, we say thank you so much. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. And don't forget, tomorrow at 6 p.m., it's Down the Rabbit Hole with Bunny Sugars. Guys, we'll see you there. Have a great night.